and unfortunately, it was one that had been sitting on the watch list for a very long time. I had it downloaded at one point and got rid of it because I thought I'm not going to bother. I think it was maybe part of the mumblecore movement at some point, but I honestly don't see how because it seems too much of a higher production for it to be a mumblecore film.
I think it got lumped into that mumblecore thing because I bought it on DVD at the height of that mumblecore thing, and it was an example of one to watch
I mean,
if
it
you
was.
wanted to get into mumblecore. And I was curious what it was, but I've never actually watched it.
I
Like
mean, I
you, it's
mean,
been sat on the shelf waiting to be watched for years. But
yeah. I mean, it was. It came out in 2012, so mumblecore kind of moved on by that point as well. Um, so I don't know. I mean, it was mumblecore was kind of coming to its end at that point. There wasn't a lot more going on at that point. Um, but so no, the Noah Baumbach film, starring Greta Gerwig, who I think they're married after this, aren't they?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, it's Frances Ha, and unfortunately, the title is in the film, which, oh, God, I hate when they do that, when they work the title into the film. It's in the last seconds. I don't think it really gives anything away, this, but it's the her name that she puts in her little apartment slip with her buzzer or her letterbox or whatever, and she can't put her full last name in, so she folds it over, so it just reads Frances Ha. Fuck me. I mean, I was already off at that point, but I'm going to say it at the top. This is a Bennett, by the way. Um, the letterbox review, the letterbox description is an aspiring dancer moves to New York City and becomes caught up in a whirlwind of flighty, fair weather friends, diminishing fortunes, and career setbacks. And fucking honestly, it was just a bunch of insufferable people just talking and smoking and drinking for what, like less than an hour and a half, but it felt like an eternity. It just kept going. And I was going, how have they still got stuff to squeeze out of this? Like it was boring. Um, it did a lot of jump cuts, like some sort of like pseudo breathless, um, that just didn't work. That I was going like, what, like what is this? I was really confused at the start. It just kind of just started. It just didn't even seem like it had any sort of like fanfare to open it at all. It just went into it. I didn't really care about any of them because none of them had any sort of, I don't know, any sort of character to them whatsoever. They were just, it was just students. That was all it was. It was just students saying like, "Oh, I'm poor," and then 2 seconds later, flashing a bunch of cash they got from mom and dad. You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, come on!" Like, it was just. I think if maybe I'd been like a starving artist in New York City, I maybe would have related with it in some way. But if you're not a starving artist in New York City, then you don't care. I think even as a younger person, being in college or whatever, or university or whatever, watching this, I don't think I could have even related to it then. It was just they had nothing to say, and they were all just talking nonsense and going about how oh, you need to go here and you need to do this, and they kept angling this thing of like, oh, she's this weird cookie girl, and look at her at this dinner with like normal people who've got children, and oh, she's being dead out there. And I was sitting going like, right, the people who have got like kids and jobs and stuff and have like a nice apartment or whatever, it's flat. I'm not American, God. That's the whole insufferable thing about this as well. It was just very American, and it just annoyed me. But they're all in like these really nice flats and bought homes and stuff, and she's like the odd one out because she's not quite there yet. She's not got quite life sorted out. And I looked at the people who had sort of got it together and went, "Yous are annoying because you're just talking about like the stock market or whatever." And she's annoying because she's just like so the opposite direction that it's just irritating. So it was just a table of people just being fucking irritating. And that's all it was, mate. It was for that entire time. It was just people being irritating and talking nonsense and just talking, being like that very typical. American thing that we don't enjoy of just chatting and just talking nonsense and just trying to throw big words in the middle to sound intelligent and just I was like, oh my God, like, if there was any antithesis of what other countries hate about America, it's this film. It was bloody awful. And I literally gave it, I think I gave it 1 star
Yeah, you did.
um, because it felt like a film that worked on a low budget, but it had loads of sets. It had loads of houses and loads of different places and air travel and France and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, whoa. But there was like a low budget feel to it as well. And I thought, well, I mean, that's good in a sense that you've managed to do that. And I was able to pick um, stuff out of it. Uh, I mean, it just really felt like it was piggybacking off of the mumblecore movement. That was all it was. I have no idea, but it just it literally just felt way too polished to have been that. Um, and I don't know if it's just hindsight with knowing more of like Greta Gerwig now and her being like the Barbie person and the Ladybird person and whatnot. You know what I mean? That it's maybe that was just playing in the back of my head of like, what the fuck is she doing in this? But I don't think so. I think I don't know. I think I didn't like her character, so it just didn't resonate. And they kept like chucking like pop songs in the middle of it to be like, look at what we're doing here. And I'm going, it doesn't matter how many David Bowie tracks you put in this. I just don't care. I don't see how anybody could care. This is the problem. Normally, if I don't like something, I think, well, maybe this sort of set of people would like it or whatever. And I was thinking, I don't know who would like this. Investment bankers, uh, like fucking people who buy art at the weekend, because that's who it was like a film made for like high-end one percenters to make them feel like they've lived in a culture of poor people for a while. You know what I mean? That was what it was to me, and it just did nothing. And it's so funny as I'm sitting talking about it, I'm saying I think I might actually take that star away from it. Um, it was awful, but I don't know. It did have little things going for it. But yeah, nah, it was too polished for being a mumblecore film. So it was all in black and white, and I don't know why, because it's not like that to save money. It wasn't like Kevin Smith putting things on multiple credit cards and trying to save on, color print and film or whatever. It was
It
nothing like
probably
that.
cost them more to do it in black and white than it did in color
Exactly.
by that stage. It's like I say, I bought the DVD. I can't even remember if I did start to watch it on Channel 4 once and just turned it off. I need to, well, I say need to, it is one that I will get to eventually. I just, I need to be in the right frame of mind if I'm going to watch it. And I don't think, yeah, yeah, I don't know when I'll get to it. You've certainly not driven me to want to watch it. Although, we haven't agreed on every film. So
No, it's true, and I don't know. Once again, it might have just been a case of like I maybe just didn't get on with it because of how I was watching it or what. I've no idea, but honestly, there's just nothing. There was nothing to even kind of like drag me in a wee bit. I'm actually, as I'm talking about it, I'm not even frustrated. I'm just disappointed that I put it off for this long and it didn't live up to anything. Like nothing. Like no bit of it was suddenly like, oh well, at least I got this out of it or something. Nah. Um, I got to see Greta Gerwig. I like Greta Gerwig, like genuinely, because I love Ladybird. I didn't like Barbie, but I love Ladybird, and I like hearing her in interviews and stuff. I think she's got like interesting stuff to say. But I also am very highly aware that she's kind of like the character from Frances Ha. And I
yeah, did
just
she
kind of
write it?
no. I think it was. Oh, maybe she did actually. Did she write it? When I think about it,
I
wait a minute.
thought she did. I might be mixing that up with something else.
Let me just. Oh God, she did. It was her and Noah that wrote it. Oh, oh God, that's you know what? No, fuck her. Fucker. I've changed my mind. Just nah. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And then the whole way through it, I also just kept thinking like, what else did Noah Baumbach make? And I was just going through it like in my head, and I thought I have seen like a couple of things that he
Squid
did.
and the Whale was him, wasn't it? And that his first
It
big
was,
one.
yeah. While we're young, I started watching Mistress America and then turned it off, and I never went back to it. And that's another
Oh, I
Greta
wonder if
Gerwig
that's the
one as
one I
well.
started watching. That might have been
Uh,
the one I started watching.
I turned that off as well. He's the Jay Kelly guy as well.
Yeah, that's. I think
Um,
that's part of the thing that's put me off
the
getting
one
into that.
that the one that I enjoyed from him, I wanted to watch A Marriage Story, but it looked like anxiety ridden stuff like his half
Yeah.
days as well. But the one that I enjoyed with him was the Meyerowitz. Is it Meyerowitz stories, new and selected. The thing with Ben Stiller and um, Adam Sandler and Dustin Hoffman.
Oh right.
I quite enjoyed that. It was kind of like just a nice family dynamic film. I quite enjoyed that. Um, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what drew me to it really, but for just all these years, I think it maybe just because of the whole mumblecore thing. Because I watched like the puffy chair and um not the Miley Cyrus film LOL, the other one LOL, um and In Search of the Midnight Kiss. That's actually one of my favorite films. I do love that. That's Joe
I like In
Swanberg.
Search of the Midnight Kiss. I've not watched it again for
Yeah,
a long time. But I,
yeah,
like I said
same.
before, I like those films set over a day
Yes, yeah.
or a finite period of time.
But that was I think that was a Joe Swanberg one if I remember rightly.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Uh, but like all the Mark and J2 Plas films and stuff like that, and I love that Mumblecore gave us Mark Duplass. Like I adore him. Like
Yeah.
I think he's incredible. He's an incredible actor. There's just a great. There's just something about him when I see him in things like as an actor. I'm always just immediately intrigued. That whole oh, what's it called? Blue Jay and
Oh,
it's
Blue Jay was,
I love that film.
yeah.
It's
It,
great, but it's heartbreaking.
yeah, it was a brutal watch.
Yeah, that's a black and white film that's worth watching.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It killed me. And is it called like Peddleton or something like
Yes.
that? With him and Ray Romano. Oh my God, another brilliant film that broke my heart. So yeah, like the Mumblecore movement gave us people like Joe Swanberg and Mark and Jay Duplass, and I'm totally blanking on all their names. I knew that whole movement as well. I knew a guy who was very much influenced by them, who made a film called Closure. He now has his own production company called Finger Click Productions because the mumblecore movement in a lot of films had clicks when they would transition in scenes, etc. And he called it Finger Click Productions, and he does like music videos and stuff now, and they're making films at the minute. Um, but he had a film called Closure that was very much influenced by the mumblecore movement. That was all set around Dundee, and it was a love story told in reverse. So it starts with them breaking up and then progresses on and you know it ends with them first meeting and stuff. And I always loved that. And he did this thing and basically then introduced me to all of these mumblecore films and they were great. And then Francis Ha has like piggybacked on the back of that, got in there somehow. I don't know how. As you said, you know, there's a list of being like, oh, watch this and you know, to start off, if you want to be introduced to Mumblecore, and it's like it's nothing like any of them. I don't get it. Like, would you put that and insert, in, even just not that you've seen it, but even just seeing a trailer for Francis Ha or a wee bit that you may have seen of it at one time, would you have put that in Search of the Midnight Kiss together? No.
No, it feels like mainstream mumblecore.
Yeah.
It's not mumblecore, but it's like you say, piggybacking on that movement. Um, yeah, like I say, I might get to eventually. not in any great rush.
That
Um,
was another movie one, by the way. I put it on movie, and I'm sitting going, "Wow, movie's not getting a really good hit rate with me just now. I'll tell you that much."
that's right, it is on movie, isn't it?
Yeah, so far, movie has only given me Perfect Days that I've really enjoyed, and I cannot think of anything else that I've watched on it that I've actually liked.
No, I'm
Um,
hoping no other choice is going to land on there before the 3 months is up, but I've got a horrible
right,
feeling
okay.
it won't.
Oh no, sorry, the worst person in the world as well. That was another one that was a movie one.
Yeah,
But that was part of the Oslo trilogy, which I don't think all of them were done through movie. I think just the worst person in the world was done through movie. Um, but yeah, I mean, movie as a production company are I mean, I think it's great that they exist in that realm, but unfortunately, I think as it comes with a lot of experimental and art films and stuff, there is a lot more misses than there is hits. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And they're only hosting Francis Ha, but the fact that I watched it on that, I was like, well, this isn't sitting solidly for them. I'm glad I only paid a pound for this. You know what I mean?